The March Wellington, which reputedly marks the steadiness with which the Gloucestershire Regiment served Wellington during the Napoleonic Wars, and which tonight marks the end of the first programme in a new series of On Parade. I hope you've enjoyed seeing us back with you on Thursday evenings as much as we've been with you. That's absolute rubbish!
Hello and welcome to Volume 8 of the pick of the radio bloopers.
Right, can I have your name, John?
Yes, my name is John.
It's always a good idea to get things sorted, but preferably before going out on air.
Right, Bob, we were talking earlier. Am I right in thinking that you were the Yorkshireman?
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. And, let me see, Tiverton, that's right. And you married your wife?
That's right.
And from day one of any new station, everything has to be perfect, with the presenter speaking in a normal voice and at the right volume.
And between now and 11 o'clock, my first competition, well, my second one, really. Whose house? Here's some Bach.
Could you just read in a normal voice, because I think I'm peaking the wrong way.
Such perfectionists, these broadcasters. But then what in broadcasting terms is a normal voice?
To fight her case after her Tory-run council took legal action against her. Hard-up Joan had tried to plead that she could not afford poll tax out of her meagre invalid benefit.
If in doubt, refer to a benefits expert.
The local authority has a duty to provide practical help in the home for deaf-blind people, and if they come up against a brick wall, they really should make use of the new complaints procedure.
As well as going to hospital. Still, you can lie there in bed all day and listen to the radio. Lovely.
Good morning, it's Morning West on BBC Radio Bristol. I'm Roger Bennett until 9 o'clock. In fact, I'm Roger Bennett after 9 o'clock. It's Tuesday the 5th of November.
Good to get that established.
Time for police traffic news, and it's Dave Sage with us this morning. Morning, Dave. Hello, Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jane.
It's Roger, actually. You're on the wireless.
That was Max Jaffer. No, I wasn't. It was Sam Jaffer, I beg his pardon. I was thinking of somebody else. As you know, the time is 18 minutes past 8.
Now, the latest traffic information across to Police Traffic Control, and a very good afternoon to Keith Lidderman. Keith, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Keith. Well,
Adrian.
Adrian. Well, main problem there in...
You're Keith, I'm Adrian, okay?
Okay, then.
Fine.
Yes, Adrian.
I'm Sally Update with the update on Key 103.
Thank you for talking to me.
That was Sorry, that was Will... It's 5:15, the headlines again. Home Secretary Kenneth Baker...
And from High Camp to Base Camp and off to the South Pole in a new novel from Beryl Bainbridge, based on Robert Falcon Scott's tragic mission. And if that isn't gloomy enough, Wangford's here in the studio to perform the winning entry in our Country and Western Sad Song competition. Hank, did your soul bleed?
Luckily, your intro cheered me up.
It's moments like that which make this country, well, what it is.
There's a cricket match going on, several cricket matches going on Boxing Day, and there's cheese rolling and dwyle flonking and all the things that make Britain great, or even Britain great.
Dr. Spooner's alive and well, and living in Croatia.
The United Nations peacekeeping force in Bosnia is trying to secure full control of Sarajevo airport so that emergency supplies can be flown into the besieged city. 2 French planes loaded with food and medicines are waiting in the Croatian port of Split.
Which takes us to the world of politics.
Coming round to 8 minutes to 9 o'clock. If you haven't seen a party canvasser yet, you'll probably get a visit from one before too long. All the political parties are moving into top gear as the election day approaches.
And Mark Gloss of The Independent is back from the election trail. A little fun. After that, I think I better stop now while I'm behind.
Former Tory party chairman Geoffrey Archer says the row over money from tomorrow's Kurd Aid concert at Wembley has now been diffused.
You're only likely to get that support if you don't continue to flaunt your homosexuality and thrust it down other people's throats.
We'll be hearing from both Kendal and Barrow, where the counts went on for the new constituencies of Westmoreland and Lonsdale, and Barrow and Furness. Surprises in both surprises in both seats, shall we say?
They say that broadcasters reckon they haven't arrived until they've appeared on one of these blooper tapes. It's the same for the politicians. A little corner in the blooper archive goes down a treat on the old CV. I understand this particular tape did brisk business at the last Tory party conference. I wonder why.
What's your view?
John Major has set out the position of the government very clearly indeed. He's got the overwhelming support of the Conservative Party. We are the only party that is doing that, as anybody who watched John Smith's shamefully evasive interview with Brian Walden yesterday could see for themselves.
If I may suggest, you're being evasive about my question. I said, what is your view of what Mrs. Thatcher said?
And I've told you that John Smith has made the government's position absolutely clear and has the overwhelming support of the Conservative Party and indeed, I believe, the country.
As we apparently head down the road to a one-party state. Political phone-in programmes on good old steam radio are generally quite simple. That's compared to the technical complexity of a televised programme, as almost everybody knows.
Quite ridiculous to try to deal with pay wholly without any regard to the output of the firm in which you're working.
Mr. Crawford?
Can you see Mr. Crawford?
Sorry, I thought you had.
No, I can't see him. Where am I supposed? I can only hear him.
Well, that's right. He's on the telephone.
Radio presenters have to make sure they're always on their toes too.
Mr. Geekas, can I ask you why you voted against?
I did not vote against.
Well, listening with us to all that at Westminster is the Home Secretary, Douglas Hurd. Good evening, Mr. Hurd.
Well, it's the Foreign Secretary, actually.
I beg your... We aren't out of date. It's a brainstorm and an aberration. I know, of course, that you are Foreign Secretary. My apologies. Thanks for putting this right.
Politicians. And those ministries, too.
It's difficult to check every badge owner when parked at the roadside, so the Ministry of Defence... It's difficult to check every badge owner when parked at the roadside, so the Ministry of Defence in its... Oh, for heaven's sake! It's difficult to check every badge owner when parked at the roadside, so the Ministry of Transport in its wisdom has produced a consultative document called the Orange Badge Scheme.
And as sure as God made little apples, some MP somewhere will leap to the defence of... anything.
Well, thank you very much. I'm obviously very honoured and privileged to be the first friend of the Cox, although I think it's a misstatement, because all over Britain there are millions of friends and admirers of the Cox, and I'm sure that in the years to come, it won't only be in this country, but also in Europe and elsewhere, that people will benefit from this juicy, succulent, crunchy apple.
Independent Radio News, it's 2:03.
This is Volume 8 of the classic radio blooper tapes with me, Jonathan Hewitt. Each year, the net proceeds of the sale of the blooper tapes are donated to the British Wireless for the Blind Fund, not to be confused with that other charity, Guide Dogs for the Blind.
Up to now, we haven't had the funds to do anything like that, so we're hoping, we'd help the blind dogs for the guide, this time.
Should be useful. We could get our national benefits expert in again.
Deaf-blind people are in the unfortunate position of falling between two stools.
If you think you've heard something like that before, you have. On Volume 2, Side 1, though it's a different voice and a different radio station. But back to politics. Overseas politics.
On the line from Luxembourg, our European correspondent, John Fraser. Good afternoon.
By the way, I'm in Brussels, but good afternoon to you.
Okay, doesn't matter, it's all out there.
And some of it a bit further east than Brussels.
Poland's Consul General Paweł Dobrow... I knew I'd get this wrong.
While the government spokesman said that Lech Wałęsa was having talks... While the government spokesman said that
That's okay.
While the government spokesman said that Lech Wałęsa was having talks... While the government spokesman said that Lech Wałęsa... Oh, dear.
Third time lucky?
While the government spokesman said that Lech Wałęsa was having talks with government and church representatives, the reports do indicate that Wałęsa...
Never mind.
Let's bring in our correspondent from Moscow now, Nick Worrell. Good evening, Nick.
Hello, Chris.
The situation in Georgia does seem to be getting fairly serious tonight. Do you think it is a last stand there by the president?
Yes, it is a very serious situation, especially for President Gapsakhutia. He's a very unpopular man now with a very large section of the Georgian population, and one has to say he's probably brought it upon himself. And it'll be interesting to see whether he can calm them down enough to survive as a political leader. The signs of the moment are that that'll be rather difficult.
Nick, sorry, I've got to cut into your conversation there, Nick, because we're getting a problem on the sound quality there from your report from Moscow. So we'll try and speak to you a little bit later, Nick, OK?
OK, fine.
And as the planet lurches from one international crisis to the next, the journalists and reporters strive valiantly to give us all the facts as they emerge.
The convoy of women and children attempting to leave the Bosnian capital Sarajevo are still being held by suburban irregulars at a checkpoint near the city.
I wonder if you remember that charismatic hostage Jackie Mann and his equally exotic wife Sunny. Somehow their first names seem to be the wrong way round. Or am I alone in thinking that?
The wife of freed hostage Jackie Mann is holding a press conference at Wiltshire's RAF Lynham this morning, and Chris Bartu is with him. Good morning, Chris. Are you there, Chris?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me, Graham?
Yes.
Jackie Mann is now speaking. I'll pass you over directly to her live speech.
The precedent for sex change by radio was set many years ago.
24-hour news for the Midlands.
It's 12 o'clock. Princess Anne has given birth to a baby boy. Both mother and daughter are doing well.
It's not always the broadcasters who contribute to the blooper archives. Every now and again, usually on a phone-in or a competition, a member of the great listening public brings a unique element of utter confusion to a programme.
A general knowledge question.
Right.
Say, Walter Raleigh is credited with introducing tobacco to this country. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
I also introduced something else. What was it, Sir Walter Raleigh?
Bowls.
Thank you very much.
Well...
Just because you don't know the answer, there's no need to be obscene.
I don't know. You'll have to give me a clue.
Sir Walter Raleigh, what else did he bring? If she set a bike, Wally, I'll kill her.
I don't know, but I thought it was in with the bowls.
Right. OK, first half of the word. Think of your husband's stomach. First syllable, your husband's stomach.
Big?
No. The first syllable of the word. What do you call it when you get a little round belly?
A pot.
Yes, wonderful. So we got pot. Right, now the next one's rather difficult. It's a number after 7. Told you all. Told you that was difficult, didn't I, eh? We'll give you time to think, girl.
Pot 8.
Pot 8, yes. And at the end of your feet...
My slippers.
When your slippers are off, what's at the end of your feet?
My toes.
So put them all together, you get?
Pot 8 toes.
Yes. So what are they?
Potty toes.
No, what are they that he brought back?
What are they, what?
What, I mean, the other thing that I introduced to the world. I've just given you. We've got the belly, we've got the one after 7, and we've got the at the end of your feet. Put them together and you get?
Pot 8 toes.
Yes, so what are they? What did he bring back?
Pot 8 toes.
But what are they?
I don't know.
You must know what they are.
I don't. When I get my dictionary.
What did he bring back? Tell me.
Pot 8 toes.
Say it fast.
Potty toes.
Yes.
Potty toes.
Say it faster.
Potty toes.
So what are they then?
I
don't know. Hey, Bill, shall we go on?
I've never heard of it.
You never did? Say it slow.
Pot 8 toes.
Yes. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. But what were they brought back?
I don't know.
You've just told me. Good God, woman, you've just told me.
Pot 8 toes.
Yes, say it very slow.
Pot 8 toes.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what they are.
Give her a clue, Bill.
How can I give her a clue? She's got it.
Well, what are you asking me what they are for?
Because I want you to tell me what they are. Potatoes.
Well, I don't know.
Are you on your own there?
Yes, I am.
Go and ask the woman next door what potatoes are.
I don't think she'd know.
Oh, she'll know. Where do you live?
Morningside View.
What number?
Number...
Well, somebody lives in Morningside View. Go to number and tell this woman what she's talking about. I'll come back to you in a minute.
One of the many gems from the rich vein of live radio quizzes and competitions that clutter the airwaves on almost every station. Let's take a break and have some music.
Yeah, for you, it's something by Clannad that I simply can't pronounce. It's all in Irish. I don't know. Just listen and see if you can work out what they're saying. Sounds nice. Ah.
But now it's gone.
That's Fleetwood Mick. Fleetwood Mick. Yes, a lone London labourer. Fleetwood Mac and Sarah.
There you go, in at joint number 28, that is. That's The Bridge Over Troubled Water. Your next choice much more recent than that. Released on January the 9th, 1989, and by February the 24th, it was number 2 in the bestsellers. For you, however, it is number 27, and it's Michael Bald.
Love changes everything. Hands and faces.
Steady on, Michael. Buck up. Hurry up. That's better.
Love changes everything. Should know by the way you...
Oh dear, we had a slight fault there. Right, here we go, back with the cruise. Sorry about that. It was a deliberate little error by my behalf. I took the wrong one off. You've never done that before. Continue. I feel such a right wally.
But between now and then, your favourite pieces of music, and some of your favourite pieces of music featuring lack of vocal, which makes them all the more attractive, I think, really. Well, do you know it's doing it on its own now? I didn't even... Honestly, my hands never touched the thing. Honestly, I didn't... All I did was close my microphone and things started going backwards. We'll try it again once more, and if it doesn't work this time, I'll have a serious word with it.
And, here is Gasoline Alley. No, that was the end of the one before. Good heavens. Never mind, Gasoline Alley is coming up in a moment. It's the best track on the album, so it's worth waiting for, I do assure you.
Yes, it's the wrong side. We play the wrong side. We're used to playing CDs that don't have two sides, but this is a gramophone record, and it does have two sides. And this is the one we should have played in the first place, but you can edit it together at home later. Okay? We'll send you some sellotape.
Sunrise, this is the last... In a moment, Poppy Power.
Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't book. Don't know much about the French
I tell you what, somebody's put back the scratched copy of this in our library. Hey, I'm just going to take it off the turntable. This is just to show that it's live radio, you see. We can't subject you to a cracked copy. We've got a new copy that they sent us, a nice, clean, shiny one without any cracked scratches. So, let's put this one on and see if this sounds a little bit better. Hang on. Got to do a few technical things, you see. All very instant, all this. Right, here we go. Try again. Whoa! Here's one for Jonathan Hewitt, I think.
Now I know why DJs prefer CDs.
There'll be some changes, babe. Now let's all play.
Anybody hurt?
Yeah. Great to hear two musicians enjoying themselves, isn't it? No mistaking that. Master and pupil, because when he was learning the guitar, Mark Knopfler, one of the two on that track, very much admired the guitar style of Chet Atkins. And when they eventually met and agreed to produce an album together, the result was pretty magical. He used to be, Chet Atkins, he used to be an A&R man early in his musical career. And in the case of two young lads who he got quite enthusiastic about, he felt sufficiently committed to their cause to appear on a good many of their tracks as session guitarist. And they were and are the Everly Brothers. Oh, but they're not there. So where have I put them? Oh, yes. I've got them now. There was a wonderful sort of build-up, wasn't it? Slightly undermined by my inability to find the right recording. Shall I say it again? No. Unmistakable. Sing, for heaven's sake.
Bye-bye, love.
Cool to the bitter end. How about a completely different kind of music?
Montserrat Caballé at Carlo Bergonzi from Verdi's La Traviata. And come, let us quaff the wine. And I'd like to dedicate that to a few people who were at a party at 6 o'clock yesterday morning. The thing was, I was in the studio trying to get to grips with everything and playing the world's most beautiful music. And when I came off the programme at 9 o'clock, all the champagne had gone. But, you know, it's marvellous to be sitting here because I actually get played, or paid. I actually get paid for playing the music.
Just like they've been doing for years on the other station.
Well, I'm sorry, we can't put up with that, I'm afraid. I suspect it might be the fault of the player rather than the disc itself, so with our fingers crossed, I'm going to put that disc into another CD player and go back to the beginning of that track, and we'll hope that we can hear the rest of the Chandos anthem without any more nasty glitches and clicks.
The mysterious world of classical music.
The Barrow Gramophone Society are meeting at 7:15 this evening in the Red Cross Rooms in Duke Street in Barrow, and tonight's subject is Wagner Remembered by Mr. F.E. Eaglestone.
Let's move right away from music now and turn our thoughts to something else. Good journalists love to get the news processed in the newsroom and put out on the airwaves before anyone else. So it must be a trifle disconcerting to hear a mere DJ give out a bit of news that's only just arriving in the newsroom.
Dame Curie and Australia are world champions. See you next week, folks. 2 o'clock, same time, same place.
BBC Radio 2.
It's 4 o'clock, and in the newsroom is Colin Berry. And as you will have heard, Australia have won the Rugby World Cup. Sorry, I'm just being handed some information right at this moment. Yes, Australia have won the Rugby World Cup at Twickenham. They beat England by 12 points to 6.
And while we're on the subject of sport, it's always useful to know who's running in which lane to get the full picture.
There goes the fire, and the athletes run. Lane number 4 leading, and it's going to be lane number 3 who's taking, and lane number 8, 7, that is Peter Petrov, is going right ahead and finishing first, followed by lane number 3 and lane number 4.
Athletes seem to get quicker and quicker every year, especially in the longer distances like the 800 metres.
There were some good British performances tonight as well. Tom McKean won the 800 metres ahead of America's Johnny Gray in a time of 45.36 seconds. Not quite that fast, 1 minute 45.36 seconds.
Golf has its moments too, with the contestants getting themselves into quite unusual predicaments.
Bernard Langer moved 5 shots clear of the West German, who shot a 70, and complained after having his ball stick up a tree.
Then there's squash.
So are you using balls that you've made here?
I made some of these anyway. I can put my name to them. But it does make a big difference, knowing what's going to happen and cutting your own balls around, so to speak.
And, of course, football.
Pompey have a tough away match against Millwall tomorrow. Can Alan Ball's team round off a great win with a week?
I suppose the major honours must go to 3rd Division Preston North End, who scored twice in the last 8 minutes of their match with Norwich to come from behind and draw 3-0.
Work that out. One of the most riveting listens is the sports interview. It's amazing how the people putting the questions are always so very well informed.
Let's look at the King George VI at Ascot. That was a magnificent race where Diamond Show led you into the straight. Were you at any stage of that race worried? Sun Princess pumping away behind you, Diamond Show pulling for his head in front, and you came through to challenge. Did you any nervous moments?
I didn't ride it that day.
Now, you were coaching in Australia during the winter. Just tell us about that.
No, I wasn't coaching in Australia in the winter, actually. I was playing cricket in the winter, but you weren't to know that.
Looking back on the match against Aldershot on Boxing Day, I suppose the defence were very pleased, held out tight in the second half.
I don't play.
They'll be coming out battling. So it's up to us to match the effort and but stay cool.
You've actually got your family on the game as well, have you?
Not on the game, like.
Well, we have some more sport at 8:20 when we'll be talking to...
You've forgotten.
I've forgotten who we're going to be talking to.
There's someone frightfully interesting to do with the sporting scene.
But away from sport and on to what's known in the trade as general magazine programmes.
Well, there'll be details of these stories and more in a full bulletin of world news, which will be on the air in just under an hour's time at 20 hours Greenwich Mean Time. Well, now, at this moment, I should be able to say to you that we have our daily outlook. But I'm afraid for the moment the studio's not quite ready to bring you this programme. So until then, I'm going to indulge myself by having some honky-tonk music. So here we go then.
Not to worry. Complete programmes don't just disappear, do they?
And a little bit of the honky-tonk train blues there, which you heard because I'm afraid we still aren't ready to bring you today's outlook. Not quite sure what's going on. I'm doing my best to find out. In the meantime, I'm afraid we're going to have to go on listening to some music. But when I say I'm afraid, I hope you're enjoying this particular sort of music, because now we've got some Stefan Grappelli coming up.
When a catastrophe of those dimensions hits the fan and the airwaves, the 2 to 3 minutes of a disc seem more like 2 to 3 seconds back in the studio.
Right, again, I'm afraid, on BBC World Service from London, I can give you no more details as to why you're not hearing Outlook at this time, as you should, because we still can't trace actually get hold of the programme for you, because it should be coming from Cardiff. And we, A, can't get in touch with Cardiff, and B, we don't know whether the programme has been pre-recorded, and we should have the whole thing on tape somewhere, and we're doing our very, very best to find out. Please bear with us, if you could, just for a few minutes more, while we listen this time to some Boogie Woogie from, where is it? It's the Boogie Woogie Man, isn't it? Yes, here it comes.
This is Classic Radio Bloopers, Volume 8. I'm Jonathan Hewitt, and if you want details of the other 7 volumes of broadcasting goodies, or nightmares, then please send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to Bloopers, 3 Wedgwood Mews, London W1V 5LW. That's W1V for Veronica and 5LW, long wave. It is important to get the postcode correct.
54321, before that 9 to 5, and before that Love Potion number 9. So well done, Mrs. D. Wilcox of Penleen Close, Mount Ambrose, Redruth, Cornwall, Tris in you. Oh, sorry, that's a postcode. TR151NU.
There's a whole heap more broadcasting classics on side 2 of this tape, ones that the presenters wished were buried forever. There's a deadly mix of children and animals, and a host of unintentional giggles. Don't fail to miss it, will you? Thanks very much for the various letters, and even more for the tapes of collections, old and new. Greatly appreciated. They come from here, from there, and, well, from everywhere.
Dolly Parton, here you come again. And for the next 2.5 hours, it's going to be worth it. Actually, if you can, record the programme that's coming up for the next 2.5 hours, because there's going to be some spectacular mistakes, I think. He's in this new place. What do you think, Jim? You going to manage it? Hello, Jim. Speak to me. Oh, he's at a very good start.
Nothing,
a very good start.
Nothing to do with me, Gov.
Yes,
I have to tell you, there's a very embarrassed-looking gentleman next door who has just put a plug in a hole.
Oh, really?
Everything was right leaving me. That's it. That's the mistake for today.
That's
over.
it.
We got that one
Good.
out of the way, so
Right.
that's all right. I shall talk to you tomorrow.
If you survive.
If I survive.
Right.
Have
See
a
you
nice
then.
one.
Bye-bye.
Tempting providence, I'd say. Still, it's always good to get rid of the gremlins right at the start, so the rest of the programme's plain sailing.
The Society is urging GPs to take their patients' complaints of indigestion more seriously, and on the line to me to talk to about it is Professor David Johnston, who is Professor of Surgery at Leeds General Infirmary. Hello, David.
Hello, Jimmy.
Why have GPs apparently failed to pick up this disease at its early stages, I wonder?
I think that in the past...
You've disappeared, David. Well, this is certainly an excellent studio we're in here this morning, I must say. Everything is working a treat, and David has disappeared. So I'll give him about 5 seconds to come back, and if he doesn't, we'll play a record, and then we will have a little bit more, or have a go at having a little bit more. Right, he is not back, so we hope we'll get him up again after we've heard this. Oh, why did nothing happen? I asked myself. No, that's funny. I set that up just now, and it fell down. Ah, well, never mind. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's try this one.
I expect every one of my crowd to make fun of my proud protestations of faith in romance.
Very cool. We'll close with one of those glorious touches of irony when staff on one radio station, GWR, monitoring the output of their main BBC competitor, heard this going out over the airwaves.
On the hour, the news from BBC Wiltshire Sound.
A doctor's been accused of stealing more than £1 million of cash and securities from collapsed Westbury Builders Far, as Kirsty Gardner now reports.
It's alleged the 36-year-old doctor...
Hello, Newsroom, can you record GWR, please?
...stole from the 160 members...
Paranoia rules. Bye-bye.
Well, here we go again. Further apologies, I'm afraid. And indeed, now, it is a very sincere apology that I'm afraid we won't have time to bring you Outlook today at this time, because there's only about, 9 minutes left in the scheduled allotted time for Outlook, and that really wouldn't be enough, even if we could get hold of the programme for you to give you a proper taste of the programme. Do very much apologise for this. If you can possibly listen at 01 hours, by then, by Jove, we will have this Outlook edition from Cardiff for you somehow. How we get it, well, I don't know. We're going to have to do quite a bit of searching, but we certainly will. So, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, because I hope you're enjoying this music. We'll have to go on with some more jazz, okay? Here we go, then.